Buy one, get two free is still happening at theorysabers.com. We have extended the sale because so many of you have been enjoying it and a lot of you get paid. So we want you to be able to take advantage of this sale. It's been a phenomenal sale. So head over to theorysabers.com. Any Pixel Saber will get you two free beginner sabers in your box. This is a massive savings and deal. Grab yours now. Code FREEDOM. Love you all. See you later.
Fulfill your destiny. TheorySabers.com.
Rian Johnson talks about his Star Wars trilogy and how it's not actually happening anymore. So let's get started. This article has been going around the internet quite a bit on many different media outlets. The one we're going to read from today is Variety. Rian Johnson says his scrapped Star Wars trilogy was very conceptual and never had an outline or treatment or anything. Nothing really happened with it. Now, if you guys want to know the true backstory to how Rian Johnson got the job for Episode 8, the middle of the sequel trilogy, The Last Jedi, it's this. And I know this because Mark Fernandez, who's a close friend of mine, who I'm going to be seeing actually in a few hours, used to own Collider. And before he sold it, he had an interview with Rian Johnson, and he said Rian's the sweetest guy, despite destroying Star Wars. But as a person, nice guy. And he told him how he actually got the role and the job. And that's because he pitched this original trilogy to Kathleen Kennedy. And she said, why don't you go ahead and do Episode 8? Like, thanks, Kathleen. Anyways, and of course, Rian, being a filmmaker, is like, well, sure, why not? Anyways, in a recent interview with Rolling Stone, Johnson, who directed his 2017's The Last Jedi, lifted the curtain on his long-rumored Star Wars trilogy that never got off the ground. He explained that at the time, he and Lucasfilm boss Kathleen Kennedy were developing ideas for the 3-film saga. However, after Knives Out came along, Johnson's focus largely shifted to the murder mystery blockbuster, which, if you didn't know, he got like $100 million or $200 million to essentially do that series, those films on Netflix. He says nothing really happened with it. We had a great time working together and they said, let's keep doing it. I said, great. I would kick ideas around with Kathy. The short version is Knives Out happened. I went off and made Knives Out and was off to the races. Busy making murder mysteries. It's the sort of thing, if down the line there's an opportunity to do it or something else in Star Wars, I would be thrilled. But right now I'm just doing my own stuff and pretty happy. So I'm happy that he's happy, but he did leave a giant poo stain on the Star Wars fandom with his divisive film, which was his intention. Back in 2022, Rian Johnson said that he would be sad if he never directed a Star Wars film again. A lot of us might say otherwise, but added it wouldn't be the end of the world for anyone. It might be if he actually did direct it, but I would be sad, he said. I love the world, I love the people, I love Star Wars fans. I love the passion of how they engage in it, I'm sure you do. There's nothing like telling a story in this world and then experiencing people truly connecting to it and letting you know that. It's extraordinary. Well, what about the inverse? What about the people who felt you literally destroyed their entire mythos of Star Wars in their childhoods, as they say, which I feel like is a little bit extreme. As for me, I would never let anything destroy the first 6. I would just not see it as canon at all. And that's very easy to see. So, you know, when someone goes into making a film that already has a lineage, already has a story, already has tons of EU, you do want to make sure you stick to that type of mythos. You stick to that story, you stick to that storyline that George Lucas created. And when you go off kilter and you want to create your own thing because you say that a movie which half the audience loves and half the audience hates is really a great film, that's where the issue lies. You shouldn't be trying to make something, and I use this expression, licking the produce and putting it back on the stand, just to say that you did that, right? Just like what Leslie Headland did with Plagueis and wanting to interject this whole bullshit story of Osha and May and how they were the original before Anakin, that were the chosen one and blah, blah, blah. And those were the ones that made the Jedi actually think, oh, maybe, this prophecy is real. This is actually what Anakin is. Maybe we should give this a second thought. That kind of bullshit doesn't belong in Star Wars. I'm all for storytelling. I'm all for creativity. But when you interject your own junk into what has already been established, what George has already made, this is his story. We have to remember this. And Disney must remember that they are only adding to his story along the same railroad tracks of his characters, not to deviate and go the other direction or whatever. You're continuing on this straight path, and you already have so much source material, Kathleen, you have lots of source material to build upon these characters so you don't fall off the rails. You can use the EU as a kind of guide. Okay, where do I take Luke? Okay, well, this is what he's like. So when you have a director that comes in who wants to do their own trilogy, and Kathleen says, well, why don't you do episode 8? You at least have some sort of a guide. And I was hoping that maybe the story group, Lucasfilm story group, would be able to keep things on track, you know, kind of like corral him as he's going off the rails and doing whatever he wants. But they didn't. No surprise there. So I'm really hoping that going forwards we're going to get something that, it's like a broken record here, that really will go along what George wanted. And I think once they are successful in that, they'll be extremely successful financially as well. So, hey, I guess they also know that the Rian Johnson trilogy is something that people maybe do not want, the majority of people. And if you do want it, well, shit, I mean, you got The Last Jedi. We didn't want that. So, you know, can't win them all, I suppose, and can't lose them all. So that's what I think on this. I'm happy that Rian Johnson is no longer making anything to do with Star Wars. I think that he kind of burned his bridge with The Last Jedi. That being said, yes, The Last Jedi was cinematic. Yes, it did look good. It had good music. I mean, anything with John Williams will. His vision as a director, where to point the camera, how it looks, you know, all that is fine. I have no issue with that. I think he's talented in that sense. But the story, you can't apply a Hollywood director's gifts and abilities to Star Wars. You have to know the characters, you have to know the mythos, you have to know the Force. And if you don't, I don't care how pretty you make the film look, and how nice you make it sound, or how flashy, it's still going to be shit. In Star Wars, at least. So that's one reason why I think the prequel trilogy is absolutely phenomenal, is because it has brilliant storytelling, it has the character progression, it has the arc of Darth Vader, and it has the flash that Nick Gillard put in there with his choreography and lightsaber duels. It has cool Force powers, and it has great music. And so, for me, that's why the prequels is standing the test of time. And it follows the same tracks into the original trilogy, you know, a 20-year gap. But I hope that when my Vader fan film is fully completed with episode 3, you know, episode 2 is coming out in several months, episode 3 being done, I hope it'll be able to bridge that gap of Anakin, Vader after Revenge of the Sith, Darth Vader, A New Hope. And you will start to see this, oh, that's what happened to him. Okay, cool. So anyways, that's my thoughts on this. Rian Johnson, I am glad you are extremely successful with your Knives Out production, but I'm also really happy that you're not touching Star Wars anymore, because I don't think you really stick to the true heart of it. I think you like to deviate as a filmmaker, and that's great for you and your other films, but I don't think it's really helpful for Star Wars. But anyways, love you guys. I hope you have a great, fantastic day. See you in the next one, and we will see you in Miami for SuperCon, Florida SuperCon, and then I will be at San Diego Comic-Con as well, just filming vlogs and stuff for a couple days, just to see George Lucas, and I'll have a video about that right after this. So have an awesome day. May the Force be with you. TheorySabers.com. We still got that buy one, get two sale. It's a huge sale that we got going on, and appreciate you guys. Love you all. See you later.